I tell you, it's been a while since I've seen these as attractive as those.
Hello, everybody. It's going to be just a few more minutes until we get started. We had somebody's car quit in the cold, so they're currently getting themselves squared away. I guess, well, you know, why not? Since we have a few minutes to kill, does anybody have any questions about the instruments you see in front of you? Oh, come now. Somebody must have a question. Yes? Yes, it does. Could you play a couple of notes on the big horn?
Play what?
Anything.
Play a couple of low notes.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So the big horn is exactly twice the length of the smaller horns, and it plays one full octave lower in pitch. The small horns are only 12 feet long. Those are regular Alphorns. Alphorns in Switzerland are actually just 6 inches shorter still. They play in the key of F sharp. This big monster here is in the key of low F. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves started here in just a couple of minutes, as soon as the other guys back there get themselves figured out. We're really looking forward to playing for you guys today, and probably what's the most amazing space any of us have played in any time lately. These horns are traditionally played up in the mountains, in sort of natural cathedrals. Usually you look for a valley or a lake with nice steep sides where you get beautiful echo. But this is going to be something special for everybody, I think. I might take a few more questions a little later on, so if you think of anything you'd like to ask about the instruments, please, feel free to keep that stored in the back of your head. We're going to play 5 or 6 songs antiphonally, which means we're in 2 choirs. We're going to play call and response. Then we're going to have a couple of pieces by a couple of smaller groups, and then we're going to play one piece at the end as a large mass ensemble with, I can't remember how many of us we have, 20 or 22, something like that. Okay? Thank you very much. That song was Oof the Bankli Alp, the most well-known Alphorn song in all of Switzerland. And I must confess, I was actually enjoying myself a little too much and I forgot to give my group some cues. All right, what's the next song we've got, guys? Oof the Rosfide. This next song is by a very well-known Swiss composer by the name of Hans-Jörg Sommer. He's written probably more well-known Alphorn group music in the modern era than any other. He actually sort of was instrumental in making the Alphorn a group instrument. Traditionally, the Alphorn was not a group instrument. It was played as a solo instrument by individual shepherds up in the mountains. They would just be up in the mountains and they would play little melodies. But the problem was their horns were all different lengths, and so they couldn't play together because the horns wouldn't be in tune. So it wasn't until the last 50 or 60 years that the Alphorn started playing in large groups like this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play Auf der Rostweide. As you can hear, the Alphorn in this space lends itself very well to playing slow, melodious chorales. We are going to try and play some music that's a little bit more complicated and difficult. None of us have ever done this before, so it might be a little bit out of time. We'll see. This next song is called Imbeudely. It's by, I believe, Gilbert Colli, if I remember correctly. He writes a lot of very, very beautiful Alphorn melodies. So yeah, we're going to give this a try, and we'll see how it goes. Well, that went quite well, actually. Does anybody have any other questions about the Alphorn? Anything anybody's dying to know? No? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes, so the instruments are tuned kind of twice. These horns all come apart. Can somebody remove their lead pipe and just kind of hold it up to show how the horns work? There you go. So the instruments do come apart into multiple pieces. We don't all need to have giant vans in order to transport them around. And those joints can be used for tuning the instruments. So generally the horns are built just a little bit short, and then as you lengthen the horn, it lowers the pitch so that we can play in tune. The other thing is that we can all bend the notes with our faces, so that's another thing. Everybody plays a little bit differently. Historically speaking, like I said, the horns were all different lengths and they were not tunable. They didn't come apart, so they were a fixed length. They usually would make them out of a tree, just hollow the whole tree out, and then that was the instrument, so they couldn't tune them. And then, of course, you also have to tune the instruments when you build them. So when you make a horn, and several of the horns up here were made by my wife and I. We're the only people in the United States who are currently building these instruments. When you make the instrument, you usually build it a little bit too long, and then you shorten it until it's the right length. Okay, we're going to play another piece by Hans-Jörg Sommer now. It's called Am Eschen Merit. We are so glad that we all decided to come out here to this event that's being put on by the local German club. So the person who's sort of helping coordinate our event is up here in the choir loft. His name's Daniel. He's with the Lindenhof and the local German club. There he is. I'm sure he'll have a few words to say when they make their way down out of the heavens there and join us down here on Earth. But yeah, we all, a lot of us had to travel here. There were supposed to be a few more of us, but the cold weather kept them away. But still enough of us made it, I think, to make it a rather lovely event. We're here from, some people are local. Some of us are from Ohio or further north in Illinois or Iowa. But my wife and I are here from Lake Tahoe, Nevada. We're going to play one more antiphonal piece, Engelberger Echo. And then we are going to have a small group who's going to play. We'll have them introduce themselves when they're ready to go. And then we're going to play a mass ensemble piece with all of the horns up here in front. So if anybody wants to take pictures, that's probably the time. After we're finished, if anybody wants to come up and ask us any questions about the instruments, if you want to get a closer look, some of the horns have paintings on the bells. Traditionally, either wives or daughters of the players were usually men, would paint the bell on the horn with something that was significant to the family. So yeah, this next piece is going to be Engelberger Echo.
The first small ensemble that you're going to hear today is a group from Wisconsin. It's a little bit colder up there than it is down here right now. We came down here because we wanted a heat wave for the weekend. So it's actually comprised of 3 couples. On the end is my wife Agnes. I'm Eric. And we got Kelly and Jordan. They're a couple. We got Ray and Rose, and that's the 3rd couple. The joke amongst us is the secret to a happy marriage is to jointly buy long, expensive wooden instruments. We're going to do one that is written by a great French horn player and a contemporary composer of Alphorn music, Laura Nelson. And it's based upon an African-American spiritual, Down to the River. Oh, okay, so going off of what was discussed a little bit earlier about the lead pipe that Jordan had taken out and shown you, Rose has done a little bit of a magic. She's taken her lead pipe out and put a different one in. So as the discussion was earlier, the horns are built in the United States to be in the key of F. Why? We don't know. That's mostly because you play with a band. In Europe and in Switzerland, the key is F sharp. So Laura has done this magic thing, and she's written this and arranged this piece so that one of the horns is going to be in F sharp. That gives us extra notes to play and gives us a little bit of a more melodic line.
right, I'm going to actually hand the microphone to Daniel. I'm sure he has something he would like to say to you guys. I'll give him a minute to catch up. Does anybody have any other questions about the instruments while he makes his way over here? No? No questions about the horns? Ah, how expensive. So, a sort of normal price for a good quality horn from Switzerland or maybe Germany, you're looking at around $4,000 to $5,000, thereabouts. Now, for a musical instrument, that's actually extraordinarily inexpensive, especially considering that there's very, very little production of these happening. They're all made by hand, right? So, you know, a decent quality violin is a $20,000 or a $30,000 instrument, or if you buy a Stradivarius, it's a $5 million instrument, but we can ignore that. A good bassoon is $50,000. So, you know, they're actually quite inexpensive for what they are. But yeah, sort of an entry-level instrument, you're looking at around $1,500, maybe $2,000. And for a really, really nice one, you're looking at around $8,000 or $9,000. So, quite expensive, but also, for a musical instrument, quite inexpensive. Daniel, did you have something you'd like to say?
Good afternoon, and thank you for braving the elements this afternoon, for coming out to support this event. This is the second year that we've had this event, and it's kind of a passion project of mine, but several years ago I kind of had the harebrained idea, there's got to be other Alphorn players out there, and so I decided to try to track down as many of them as I could find. And I was fortunate enough to find out that there was a lot of work already that had been done in that vein already. And one of the first people that I contacted was Brandy and Lindsay Jones, because I saw that they also were dabbling into manufacturing of Alphorns. And they said, well, actually, we're already kind of organized a little bit. But they were just a couple years ahead of me. But there was a kind of a fairly full calendar of events and schedule throughout the warm weather months of the year. But there was kind of a lack of winter opportunities for Alphorns to play. And when we're busy during the fest seasons, we don't always have a lot of time to practice, work on new material, get new ideas from other groups and things. So I had the idea to try to organize a midwinter event, and I started it last year, kind of threw it together in about 2 months' time, and we had 11 participants, and I expected it to be mostly players from in-state and throughout the Midwest, but I was fortunate enough to have attendees from Texas, Nevada, Washington, and Utah, and very few from the Midwest. But now this year, we've more than doubled attendance. We have 25 players that have participated in this year's event from across the country, but also a large bump in Midwest attendees, including I think we have 8 or 9 total from Wisconsin, including one whole group. So pretty exciting to see that year-over-year growth. And the idea behind this event also is to just kind of get creative ideas and have some fun and start getting excited about our upcoming festival season. But the success of this event goes beyond just the organization and participation as well. It requires a small army of volunteers helping out in various ways. So a few of those individuals that have volunteered throughout the weekend are here. So if you're here, go ahead and either wave or stand up to be acknowledged, please. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're here to hear Alphorns make beautiful music and not listen to me ramble on. So we're going to play some music as a whole group here, and as soon as I have a chance to join them on the stage, we'll get going again.
shared with us? Well, that, I might make
It's
some
submitted
money
to
on
ICE.
that.
Yeah, obviously there's a bunch of.
Take it on 0.5, then we can all get in. Are we in?
They want more pictures.
Do you want to switch places with me so you're in it?
Lindsay,
Yeah, everybody lift your arm up on your right foot.
what?
Except for you.
What are we doing? Oh. Hey, you're blocking off the beauty. You're blocking off the beauty. Huh? Fun. That was fun. Oh, that was fun, Brandy.